Now we're going to move into what's normally the teaching portion, but we're going to hear a little bit more about the partnerships that we have that we do these outreaches for in the holiday season. First, we're going to hear from Jeff and Shea. First, we're going to see a video about Lavinia, and then we're going to hear a bit from Jeff and Shea about the Lavinia School and Church, and then Caleb and Eva are going to come up, and Eva is just going to tell us some stories about Waymakers and our friends at Waymakers. So during this part, anyone can feel free to go back to our tables. We have some markers back there, and each of the bags for each of our Waymakers has their name on it. So you can color in their name, you can put decorations on it, you can do whatever you like, some Christmassy things. These are in place of the stockings, so make them, merry and bright. And here's the deal. While you're back there coloring, I would not have thought this possible, except Chris Mackey had us have an assignment, and we colored during service a few Sundays ago. And I know that God, now, because I've experienced it, I know that God can highlight to you, even while you're coloring, while we're telling stories up here, and while we're finding out about these outreaches. Just tune your ear to both places. You can be coloring, and God can also highlight to you what he wants you to hear. Same in the seats. If, maybe it gets a little raucous back there, that's okay. God can still highlight to you what he wants you to hear this morning. So, was that all I'm supposed to share? I think so. If not, it'll be fine. So, let's settle in. We're going to start with a video from Lavinia, and then Jeff and Shea are going to come up and share a bit with us.
Good morning. My name is Emily Berg. I am in 5th grade. Thank you for your support and for helping us to have an education.
Hello, my name is Marilyn. I'm the third level teacher. I have 12 girls, 14 boys. This is the generation 2025 of third level. Thank you very much. God bless. This is Ian Berger. This is Isaleska Reyes. Ready? Hello, everyone.
Hello, good morning. My name is Lydia Tucker. I am third grade teacher, and I be third teacher at classroom. Good morning. This is Joyce Suazo and Sherry Maturin. Hello. God bless you.
Thank you for your support and for giving education.
Good morning, Series Media Church. Thank you for your support.
Started 21 years ago with 19 kiddos in a single room. And Walter, I think if you can flash up the slides, it'll give you a picture of where the school is in retrospect of Nicaragua, where the star is on the Caribbean coast. So most of the commerce in Nicaragua is on the west coast, and the two sides are connected now by a highway. But when we first went down there, you could only get from coast to coast via plane or a 2-day bus and boat ride. And the distance is like from here to Kansas City. So it's not far. There is a highway now, but the highway, apparently it takes 9 to 10 hours to go from here to Kansas City on the highway in Nicaragua. So this part of Nicaragua was fairly forgotten over time. It was fruit was the main export until a hurricane came through and kind of wiped that out, and then all the fruit companies pulled out. So it's really remote, and we went down there 16 years ago. So school started 21 years ago. We went 5 years after that. It had grown to probably about 75 kids, still in a single room like this, but with walls splitting the grades up. So if you thought that was loud, the video, you can imagine like the school day. It was pretty chaotic. So in 2012, 2013, with your guys' help, we helped them build more of a proper school down there. And since that time, for 10 plus years, you guys have been supporting more than 100 kids to attend La Viña School every year. So it is a vineyard church and a vineyard school. So these kids are getting, the love and to hear about Jesus, and also an education in their community down there. So we thank you guys for that support. Walter, if you want to go to the next slide.
Yeah, one thing Jeff didn't mention, when they would put those walls up for school, that was their church building as well. So they would all come into this big building, and then each day for school, they would put up the little walls and then take them down at night to have church each evening. So this year we wanted to show you guys some cool things that the school is doing in the community. So this is a picture of a parade that the school was in, and in that second picture, that is Janelle. She has really dedicated her life to this ministry. She's been there from the beginning. She was one of the first people we met when we went to Nicaragua the very first time, and her passion for the Lord and for this school and the work in this community is just amazing. She has been a teacher, administrator, all things in the school. In Nicaragua, the typical class size is 90 to 1. So in most classrooms, if you were in a public school, there could be up to 90 kids and one teacher. So one thing that has been really unique about this school is they try to keep class sizes really small, and their teachers go to a lot of training. It's really amazing what these kids are learning and able to do with the passion of these teachers. So we just wanted to highlight her. She's someone who's near and dear to us, who really has dedicated her whole life to seeing this ministry happen. If you can go to the next one, Walter. So just some fun things that the school does throughout the year. This is kind of like career day, what they want to be when they grow up. So students got to dress up and think about dreams beyond Bluefields. That's one thing that was really eye-opening to Jeff and I the first time we went there, is there's not a lot of opportunity. There's not a lot of room to dream for what you might do when you grow up on this small, tiny island. So it was really cool to see these kids kind of get to experience what the possibilities might be with an education. You can keep flipping, Walter. So these are just some of the projects that students do. This was a rural and urban comparison. So the teachers there have attended different workshops to really try to bring learning to life for these students. So even though classrooms are big, open air, and loud, and sometimes kind of wild, students are able to still do lots of really creative hands-on projects. You can go to the next one. So they like to have parents in often, as much because it is such a ministry to the community. And so they do a lot of different things where they have Mother's Day and Father's Day celebrations so that families feel a part of the school and church as well. Go to the next one. Sports are big in Bluefields. Our school has actually had the Bluefields chess champion twice in regional competitions. So they have their own chess team there, and a PE teacher has come on board in the last couple years to do different athletics throughout the day. This was National Food Day, which Jeff was very excited about. So families were able to bring in food to share. Students do receive a meal every day, so there is a kitchen on site at the school, but this was a special day where families could bring in food and share with others. These are some of the graduates. Some of the things that are really important in the culture in Nicaragua is celebrating milestones. So oftentimes students will receive awards for things like perfect attendance, academic accomplishments. So those are things they really like to highlight. And lastly, this is a festival day, and that's again Jonelle there, an opportunity for students to celebrate their heritage in the country. So just a little bit more about kind of some of the other things that the school is doing beyond just the ministry and giving these kids a really good education.
And Walter, I think if you skip ahead to one more, possibly, There you go. Yeah, so, we heard that the teachers and students introduce themselves, and just so you guys know that, they all speak Spanish, so as they were speaking English, to me that is awesome, because obviously their English is quite better than my Spanish. So it's a good way to communicate with that community. It's a very interesting community in that it's a mix of Spanish, traditional Nicaraguan heritage, Creole, and then Mosquito, several kind of indigenous heritage there as well. So most speak often 3 languages, which is pretty awesome, and they're phenomenal at math because they're used to converting money. So dollars are much more valuable down there than Cordobas, which is the Nicaraguan currency. So the kids, you put math in front of them and they whip it out because they're used to trying to figure it out as they're going to the market, like what's this cost, what's that cost, and what currency am I using today? As they'll kind of go back and forth with currency just like they go back and forth with language. So very awesome culture down there. So a couple ways to support. Obviously, they would appreciate your prayers. They're very strong believers in prayer and the Holy Spirit, and trust that they're always praying for us, and they would appreciate that from us as well. So praying for La Viña School, their administrators, teachers, and students down in Bluefield, Nicaragua would be very much appreciated. If you'd like to participate in the student sponsorship program, $100 allows a kid to go to school in a year. That gets them, as Shea mentioned, a meal every day that the school provides, helps with their supplies and uniforms, and really goes to help support the teachers' pay. So that's something we're firm believers in. There's a couple different ways to do it up there between PayPal, Venmo, and a simple check to TGVP, which stands for the Global Village Project. And as I said before, you guys have been awesome making this a reality for these kiddos, and we couldn't imagine this without our Vineyard support. So thank you, guys.
Thanks, man. Thank you, Jeff and Shea. You guys, can we just give these guys another round of applause? It's awesome. I'm Caleb, by the way, if you don't know me. I'm part of the pastoral team here. And, Jeff and Shea, we were just talking before service, like, there's lots of different ways to help in the world in different ways. And but for the most part, it's like, if you want to give, you kind of can give to these big charities, and the money just kind of goes to wherever you're not really sure. And we're just I just feel so fortunate that we've got like such deep and strong connections to our partner ministries. And Jeff and Shea just been doing this for so long, and I don't know how you guys do it, but they, like, when you sponsor, if you guys know, when you sponsor a kid, they actually like send you things about your kid, which I'm like, where do you have time to do that? Is that like, I don't know how that works. They're very busy, but it still happens. And it's just a great opportunity. Like Emily mentioned earlier, we wanted to continue on this morning and kind of shift gears to the Waymakers. And to do that, I'm going to bring up Eva and Mike also. And really, this is really mainly, come on. This is really to have Eva have a space here. Mike and I are just here for eye candy, like I was saying earlier. So don't, let's see. You want to sit in the middle, Mike? And then I'll sit over here. They tricked me. And then I think we might have one slide at the end there that's got the Waymakers logo. We'll see if we can get that. And so this morning, what we want to do with the bit of time we have left is just tell some stories about the Waymakers, and then maybe hear a little bit more about Eva and her journey. But we're going to start with the Waymakers. So first of all, we talk about the Waymakers, but some of you guys might not actually totally know what that is. What is the Waymakers?
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. This is great to finally be up here and say hi to you guys all together at once. Waymakers is a church for people with disabilities and for those who love them. We just provide spiritual and practical needs to people with disabilities, the elderly, the poor, the impoverished. mainly in South City.
Yeah.
That's what we do, and
Down there on, what is it? Is it Grand?
right off Grand and Gravois.
And, yeah, Grand
Old
Gravois.
Winnebago Presbyterian Church. So we have church service on Sunday, which we could have totally rearranged this whole thing because we had to cancel church today because of the snow.
Yeah.
So we could have just went back to your normal thing, but we didn't want to switch things on the last minute
disrupt.
like we usually do.
It's all good.
Yeah.
We do that too. So.
We do.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah,
you're also, besides being a church, it's also a food pantry, right? And
right, yeah. The core function is a church on Sunday mornings, and one of the ways that we show God's love to everyone that we encounter really is to have a soup kitchen and a food pantry twice a week. And I see lots of people out there that help with that. We also have some housing. We do Toys for Tots. We just do everything that a church does.
yeah, and more, I would say. So
I don't know.
you guys take trips to Branson sometimes, I see, you know.
We have a social club for
Yeah.
adults with developmental disabilities, so we go to Branson, we go camping.
Yeah.
Peggy Dotson loves to go to Branson with us. She loves it. I drive,
we've
she
never been to
navigates.
Branson together, have we? So I don't know. This is pretty
Maybe
good.
there's some Bransonites
Maybe.
coming up next
Maybe.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We had a sock hop and just all kinds of fun things to really try to alleviate the loneliness and to show God's love, because that's one thing that I would say about all of our Waymakers and just our neighbors in the community is the intense loneliness that they experience.
Yeah.
I would say unlike any kind of loneliness that I've encountered.
Yeah.
So we just want to be there for them through a square dance or church.
Yeah. All sorts of ways. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, tell us a little bit about some of the Waymakers. I don't know. Some stories or examples. Yeah.
Stories. Gosh, I think of the first thing I think of is they minister to me more than I could ever minister to them. The first story that I think of is Angie, and when my daughter Sophia, who is down in the nursery right now, not in here, getting embarrassed that I'm about to talk about her.
She's not in the nursery.
She's
helping
serving
with the
in the
nursery.
nursery. Thank you. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Sometimes I miss to say all the words.
No, it's good.
Okay, so Angie is an adult with a developmental disability. She works at a shelter workshop. She's kind of a mild intellectual disability. But when my daughter, Sophia, was 7, she was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And when I was sharing that, I can't remember how, like at church, or there was some, it was a mess. And Angie just immediately started praying for me. She came up to me and just prayed for me and prayed for Sophia. And she does that not just with her church family, but to the world. There's been times when she was at the bus stop, because she takes public transportation everywhere, and she's given money to people who are homeless on the street. She's prayed with people.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah, she's just amazing. And then I think of Frances. Gosh, I don't want to take you guys away from Sunday morning here, but if you could come on some Sunday and hear Frances sing and pray to our God and speak in tongues, it changed me, that's for sure.
That's awesome.
And something you also need to know about Frances, with all that information, that might be really cool. She doesn't know how to read. She can't write. She is not a math whiz like the kids in Nicaragua. But I don't know. Do you have any
Mike?
stories, Mike?
What do you think?
Take the mic, Mike.
There we go.
Stories. I wasn't anticipating a story. For me, my experience is a little bit different. I'm there every Tuesday and Thursday for food pantry, and I'm outside with the people from the neighborhood. And what's really beautiful is some of the outside people have become inside people, which is just amazing. And we do focus on people with disabilities, and pretty much everybody that comes there is suffering from trauma, addiction, mental illness. Is just, you just assume that's part of the mix. And so it's just amazing what goes on out there. it helps me so much, just how hungry people are for just someone to actually listen and actually care, even if it's for a moment. I could be talking to somebody for 30 seconds, and they'll just be unpacking the deepest, darkest things that people in my world would have to go to a therapist for 2 months before they would even whisper a peep of it, you know? And it's just amazing. And just to ask if they want me to pray for them and just touching them, you know? I mean, they're so isolated. There's just so little affection and care and so lack of trust. Everyone's suffering from trauma and all the negative behaviors they do to cope with that trauma. So my story is just really more what's going on outside and just longing to see a move of the Holy Spirit there. And I'm praying that the next revival, and we like talking about revivals in Vineyard, the next move of God isn't in churches, it's in the poor neighborhoods, because I think that will be a sustainable revival that will actually change our culture.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and that's really, I mean, one of the reasons I think we've all always felt so connected with the Waymakers is exactly what you're talking about as far as people actually being able to, like, to be real, right? Like, there's no ability to have pretense or, like, hide things or be inauthentic, right? Like, it's just where we find ourselves. And when we get around that, it helps us to do the same, right? And you guys also mentioned, like, it's, how did you say it? It's a church for people with disabilities and people who love them, right? And so, and one of the things I've seen too is just how, like, a lot of families who have children, like, they really connect as well, and it's something that really provides a community space. They come in, they oftentimes it's hard for these families to connect well in a quote-unquote mainstream church, but Waymakers, they're able to find a place for everybody, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, just a couple months ago, I received a call through 211. Our number is connected with 211, which is kind of like a 911 for social services and such. And she called for like food, shelter, utility bills, and I, shared with her everything that we had to offer, and also because I use this as an opportunity. I'm working 211, making it work for me. So I always use that as an opportunity to share about Waymakers being a church. Like, this is really our core function, is we're a church for people with disabilities. You can come and get food and all of these other things. You can come sign up for Toys for Tots, but we're a church for people with disabilities. And she just totally unpacked and just poured out her heart. We talked for probably an hour. She was looking for a church, and she just felt, here we are in 2025, and she has a son with autism and didn't feel welcome in church. She's tried several different churches, not Vineyard, because we would completely accept them. It's totally, but just, she said that she felt like she was an eyesore. She kept using that word. Like, I felt like we're an eyesore. So she's come a couple of times to pantry. She's warming up. I'm going to get her in there on Sunday mornings.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So, well, and it really, I mean, obviously we would absolutely welcome anybody into our church here, but even with that, I mean, it is, like, it's important to have spaces for different types of people, right? And it's and helps them to feel more at home. But then it's also important for us to be able to interact, and that's what a lot of the connection that we're striving for today is about. And we definitely, as we say up here often, we welcome you guys to come and volunteer and even come on Sundays. There's services at 9:30, right?
It's at 9.
9. There we go.
That's why I always walk in so late.
Yeah. But you guys are tending to folks afterwards too. So with that being said, I look up on this slide here, and it says Eva, Executive Director. It says that because I made it, but that is your title. I took that right off the website. And so, and I don't know. I know that you, your parents, right, Bill and Rosa.
Right, Bill and Rosa Williams. They founded.
They founded it. Okay. And so in my mind, I'm like, oh, Eva, she's the daughter. She must have just, like, rolled out of bed and just straight into this executive director role. She's obviously she's been doing this forever. She's incredibly competent. It's amazing what this woman gets done day in and day out, week in and week out. So I was actually surprised to learn that you didn't necessarily just have a straight path into this really amazing, role that you have with Waymakers.
I was quite the infidel.
That's right. We had a good conversation where Eva was thinking Mike was gonna police her language up here, which is like, I was like, have you met Mike? I don't know if that's a great idea or not to count on that, but yeah. So just tell us a little bit about how you ended up like being executive director of Waymakers. What was
Okay,
your
but first I
journey
want to
like?
talk about our logo, because that's what I thought you were going to go for.
Oh, all right, sure.
So I have to finish that. Just going back to Waymakers. So this logo was drawn by a Waymaker, like 1970. That's when my parents founded the ministry. And then a few years ago, on the way to Branson, the van was in front of us, and because we always caravan, and this logo is at the back of the van. And one of our members mentioned to me, like, this is great, but what about all of our members who don't have a physical disability? I was like, that is a good point. So she said, why don't we add a standing guy, or a standing person, whatever, she didn't say. So that standing guy was just added a few years ago by one of our Waymakers and drawn by our Amy Baumgartner down in Florida.
Amy, yeah. Shout out to Amy.
So she updated our logo a couple of years ago. So
so
that's really cool. I love our logo.
Yeah, it is cool. And actually the website is really great too. Have you been to the website? And that was a lot
because
of
Amy. Anything that makes us look cool, it's because of Amy Baumgartner. It is.
True. Yeah.
Okay, so how I got involved with Waymakers. Well, I was born into it.
Yep.
So, and I mean, I remember, like we were talking yesterday, bouncing down the interstate in a 44-passenger wheelchair bus with my dad driving, no seatbelts. I'm
necessary.
sitting on the laps of Patsy and whoever else in wheelchairs. They would share their wheelchair with me, so that was super fun, but probably really illegal and unsafe. But it was like 1980 or something
was
like
different
that.
back
Yeah,
then,
things
right?
are different.
Yeah.
It was. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
You're
fine.
still here.
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. So, always been involved with Waymakers, but then when I became a teenager, you can probably guess where this is going. And in my college years and young adult, I was spending a lot of time trying to debunk God and make him into something that he's not. Anything from being a woman to Buddha, like just really kind of off path.
Yeah.
And we'll just stay there. We'll just stick to that.
We'll just keep it in that general realm.
Just not following Jesus at all.
Yeah.
Yet he came in certain, times and spaces, but I'm a little stubborn and bullheaded, don't really want to listen to him. But now, like,
it took a minute, maybe?
It took several minutes of him just like standing at the door, just waiting, like, just waiting for you, Eva, to come back to me.
Yeah.
And
well,
then,
some of that has involved Mike, right? And that is one of the reasons why Mike is up here too. Tell us a little bit about how you guys met and how that turned into.
So we were working at probation and parole together. We were both
in
probation and parole officers in the city, 220 South Jefferson, right there at Highway 40, working North City. And let's see, I walked over to your cubicle and I saw a painting of Salvador Dali's Jesus Christ crucifix. And I remember saying, wow, I don't like Christians, but I like Mike. Like, this is cool.
I like Mike too.
I like Mike, but really don't like Christians. And so. No.
Yes, what
Mike
are all the things that you liked about Mike? Okay, right.
Yeah, let's just stay to the point here.
That's
so he was like, okay, where was I going with this? You guys are totally derailing me here.
We're distracting you. Sorry. Yeah.
Let's see. So then, I thought it was around the same time that then my dad got sick in 2011, and I was still like, okay, God, you're okay, but I'm going to keep you like over there.
Little arm's length thing,
little
right?
Arm's length. Yeah. But then my dad got sick in 2011, and within a month he passed away of telling me that he had cancer. And I thought, you know what? Mike is a trusted guy. He's a Christian. He also knew about my dad's ministry, which I was really kind of keeping under wraps. I wasn't really sharing all of that with my probation and parole homies. I was out doing things that were ungodly. So I didn't really share that with Mike that much.
Yeah.
At all, I guess. Okay, I didn't share
You were
that
hiding
at
out
all.
still.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I asked Mike if he would come sit in and guest preach for Waymakers, something like that. Here, you tell the story,
Yeah.
because I can't remember
Tell
it.
us a little bit about that, encountering it.
Eve and I had been friends for a long time and just pals and goofing around in the lunchroom. That was great. And then I found out her parents started the church I'd been fascinated with for a few years, and I was really mad at her for not telling me that, and then I got over that. But whenever her father got sick, she asked me if I would teach, and I went and stood by his bed, and he told me exactly what to do, and I went and did it. And then she called again. He wants to know if he could do it again the next week, and I said, yeah, I'll do it again the next week. I went back, stood by his bed. He didn't tell me as much what to do, but he asked me a bunch of questions about what I thought. And then he said, will you keep helping us? And I said, I will for as long as you need help. And then he passed away a few days later. So that might have been a miscalculation on my part, but no, it's been a tremendous, tremendous blessing. And so, and here I stand.
Yeah, God knows what he was doing. Yeah, I mean, one of the fascinating things I learned was you had, I guess, sort of just heard about that there was a church for the disabled, but you did not know what it was, or didn't know where it was, didn't know anything about it. You were using your dial-up modem to try to search the internet to figure that out. And so really, like, it was years, you said, right? Like it'd been a while. Yeah. And all of a sudden, one day, it comes out that Eva is the daughter of the founders of this church. Coincidence?
It's really cool how God has woven this together, and just kind of the whole, like, great conductor of this through my life. And like I said, I feel like the Waymakers minister to me more than I to them, and connected Mike and I, and just through Waymakers there's been so much healing. It's really fascinating. You should come visit. That's something that people say when they come visit. And we try to describe what Waymakers is and what it's like on a Sunday morning. And the takeaway more than anything is, like, you have to come experience Waymakers. You have to experience it, either on a Tuesday, Thursday, or a social club event, or on a Sunday if you want to skip out on Vineyard, once in a while. So.
You can try to come to both. You guys,
you can,
you do.
Yeah, we're done at 10-ish.
10-ish.
Come to both things. But
yeah, that's awesome. Anything else that you want us to know before we wrap up today?
I love Vineyard so much.
Oh, thanks.
I do, and I am here because Vineyard is real, and that is what I was looking for. I started coming here in 2018 after a really nasty divorce, and I needed something that was emotionally stable and real. And right after I started coming, David was badgering me to come to some classes or something for a while. So I finally did, because I was also just still hesitant. I love Jesus. I was going to Bible study fellowship, like, religiously. I loved it so much. It really drew me closer to Jesus and my relationship with him. But during that class, we had to say something about, like, why, we're here, or something like that, some kind of icebreaker. And I said, well, Vineyard's real. And that was kind of cool, because that's what you guys wanted to do, is have a church that was real.
Yeah.